Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of A Good Sports Show. I will be talking sports and sharing my hot sports opinions in this sports podcast. You can help grow the show by subscribing on Apple Podcast, Podbean, and YouTube. And I really appreciate your feedback and support of this podcast show. Also, you can follow the show on social media. A Good Sports Show is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The username is at A Good Sports Show, all one word. And then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. It's at rangood03. And also, you can send your questions to our show email address, agoodsportshow@gmail.com. And I'll read them on future episodes of the show and give you a shout out. So I'm ready to get this show started. We're going to start off this week's episode talking about the NBA Finals. Golden State and Toronto are tied at 1-1 in this series. Golden State came back on Sunday night and won up in Toronto, and now the series moves over to Golden State for the next 3 games. So to kind of look at the NBA final notes for this game, Kawhi had 23 points in Game 1 in their victory over the Warriors, and then he put up 34 points in the Game 2 loss on Sunday night. So I'm looking for Leonard to throw it into another gear these next couple of games. I just feel like he's going to have to put this team on his back like he did in the previous playoff series to lead them to a title. He really did that. He showed that in the Milwaukee series and also the Philadelphia series, where Leonard he just steps up his game during playoff season. And I expect him, to continue this these last games in the NBA Finals. So the Raptors are working, I've noticed they're working with a 7 to 8 man rotation so far in this series. Sycam was just on fire in Game 1. He had 32 points. Gasol had 20 points. Danny Green had 11 points. And Van Vliet, I love saying that name, Van Vliet, anyway, with 15 points. And then Lowry, he had a disappointing 7 points in 36 minutes. I don't know what the deal with Lowry is, during, some of these playoff series, he shows up and he contributes in some games, and then some games he just disappears. And then Danny Green, he can get hot from three-point land like he did in Game 1. They're going to really need his production off the bench, and if he can get going making threes and stuff and keep Toronto in these games with the Warriors' high-octane offense, there's no reason why they shouldn't win this series. And then also noticed the Warriors, they're going to be, I've noticed in these first 2 games, they've been guarding Leonard really tight, and so they're going to force someone else to step up in these last 2 to 3 minutes of the games to try to get someone else to beat them. And Golden State, they need to continue their production from their role players with Durant out, and now Klay Thompson's injured, although he's confident that he's going to play on Wednesday night. They really need Thompson in that lineup to him, because this Warrior team is getting really depleted. And then guys that have stepped up in previous series and really need to step up here in the finals, Kevin Looney, Sean Livingston, Quinn Cook, and of course Boogie Cousins. And Boogie Cousins, he was the MVP on Sunday night's game. He almost played 28 minutes and scored a double-double for the Warriors in Game 2. And the last time he had played that many minutes in a game was on April the 9th. And he had 21 points and 12 rebounds versus the Pelicans. Boogie Cousins in there, he can make shots. He doesn't want to be the one to take the last shot of the game. But Boogie Cousins, he can be a force inside there when he's really getting going. But you could tell, on Sunday night, he was starting to get gassed towards the end there because, playing 28, 30 minutes for him, in this point in his career, is a little much, pushing him to his max. And then Livingston and Cook, they got to get their shots down, coming in with the second team, like I was saying before. And Cook, he was hot in game 2. He went 3 for 5. And then I will say for Kevin Looney, he was great in the Rockets series when Kevin Durant went out. And then he played okay in game 1 of the finals. He had 9 points. But then he disappeared in game 2. He played 10 minutes with 0 points. I mean, he disappeared like a fart in the wind. I just don't understand, what's going on with him. But yeah, so game 3 is on Wednesday night at Golden State, and the Raptors, they really need to win these. They really need to win Wednesday night's game, and then also if they could win Friday night's game, they could really put the Warriors their backs up against the wall. But I still have the Warriors winning this series 4-2 and winning their third NBA Finals. All right, so that's a little bit of the NBA Finals talk. Let's move on to Rangers baseball. The Rangers 6-4 in their last 10 games. They're above 500. They have a record of 30-27. They're doing good. They're at Globe Life Park this week playing Baltimore Tuesday and Thursday. And then they play a 4-game series against Oakland, and they have a doubleheader on Saturday. And I will say never count out the A's. Someone once told me that a long time ago. Never count out the Oakland A's. But anyway. So the Rangers hitters, they're kind of struggling right now. One guy that's just flat out awful right now is Odor. He's batting .166 with 7 home runs and 25 RBIs. And the big number on this is 60 strikeouts. I'm just not sure what's going on with Odor. I know that the Rangers management was threatening to demote him for the lack of like good play and stuff. And I don't know, maybe he'll turn around here before they actually send him down. But yeah, you can tell there's just something off with Odor this year. And then Jeff Mathis, just want to give this stat. He's sitting at a 143 batting average. But I do have to say, to his credit, though, he's not here for his batting skills. He's here because of his stellar glove and his defense. And he has a great ability to control the running game. So Mathis, you can live with the 143 batting average that he's producing, but all the other skills that he has and why the Rangers brought him, I mean, that's key. And then I would say 3 bright spots on the Rangers right now on their hitting would be Hunter Pence and Chu and Joey Gallo. Gallo's knocking it out of the park. He leads the team in home runs with 17, and he has 41 RBIs this season. And then also, too, the Rangers' batting average is .255 right now, and they need to improve and get that up. And then actually the bright spot for the Rangers right now is their pitching, believe it or not. The Rangers' pitching is doing really well with Minor and Lynn. Minor's got a 5-4 record with a .274 ERA and 80 strikeouts. It's really good so far this season. And then Lynn's got a 7-4 record with .450 ERA and 77 strikeouts, just right behind Minor. And then two of the shining stars here on the Rangers pitching staff is the new reliever Sean Kelly. He's 3-1 with a .218 ERA and 6 saves so far this season. And then the guy I'm really keeping an eye on is Sampson. He's 4-0 with a .238 ERA in his last 4 outings, which is really impressive. He's pitched 7 innings He pitched 7 innings on Sunday and had 11 strikeouts in the win versus the Royals. And then he's also avoided trouble by allowing only 2 walks and a homer and struck out 23 in the last 22 and 2/3 innings. I mean, he's Samson's really turned it on here. lately. And the Rangers have needed this kind of production from their pitching staff. I mean, as you know, as a Rangers fan, pitching is like one of the sore spots or sore subjects with the Rangers for like the longest time. And so it's good to see guys like Minor and Kelly and Lynn and Sampson, doing really well and succeeding here in this part of the early season. So we'll keep an eye on the Rangers this week and see how they're doing and everything. And then we'll follow up on another episode on Rangers news and notes. So now we're going to do a fast break and head over to the Dallas Mavericks news and notes. The Mavs free agency starts at the end of this month. It's actually free agency starts on June 30th at 5 p.m. Central Time. And there was news that Dwight Powell had declined his $10.2 million player option with the Mavs to become an unrestricted free agent, and that turned out to not be true. And I can't see Powell opting out of the deal either. I can see if he does end up opting out for whatever reason, there's going to be an NBA team out there that's just going to overpay him. And I love Powell as a role player for this team. Like, he's really improved his game and worked hard. And I know Coach Carlisle, enjoys having him here as a player. And I think Powell can do great things with this young nucleus of Mavs players that are here. And then one thing with Powell, he averaged 10.6 points a game and 5.6 rebounds in 2018. I mean, that's great numbers for one of your role players. So we'll kind of keep an eye on what happens here with Dwight Powell in the next couple of weeks with free agency looming. There's a couple of guys that the Mavs may be looking at when free agency starts. I've got three guys that they could be targeting. One of them is Willie CauleyStein, the center out of Sacramento. He averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds in 2018. And he's a young player too. He's 25 years old and 7 feet tall. And the Mavs need a center presence too, to go along with Porzingis and Doncic. And then two other guys. I know these guys have been reported before. This one guy I know, Chris Middleton. He's the shooting guard, small forward for the Bucks. He averaged 18 points and 6 rebounds a game in 2018. Yeah, I know he was a big contributor in the Bucks' deep playoff run, and I think he'd be a great wing guy to go along with Luka and then also Porzingis. And the Mavs, the other guy, Tobias Harris, the small forward from the 76ers. He's a young guy too. He's 26 years old, 6'9", 235. He averaged 20 points and 7.9 rebounds, and he shot 48.7% from the floor. And I just feel like he would get plenty of offensive opportunities with the Mavs, and he's going to keep that. He's going to keep around that 20 points a game. I would love to see Tobias Harris in a Mavs uniform. Oh man, that would be so exciting heading into this next NBA season. So the Mavs, they can get to almost $38 million of cap space this summer if they release guard Courtney Lee. There's been rumors that they may end up releasing him, but we'll just have to see on that. The Mavs do have some cap space to spend, and I don't see them overspending for certain positions. I just don't see that. Donnie Nelson and Mark Cuban are too smart, and this is a young team, and we don't want to be strapped with bloated salaries and things of that nature to kind of hold us down. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on that as free agency looms here. And so we had the NBA lottery results that happened a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you guys kept an eye on that, but the New Orleans Pelicans ended up winning the NBA lottery. they only had a 6% chance of getting the number 1 pick. And they end up getting it, and they're going to probably, 99.9% they're going to take Zion Williams with the number 1 pick. And Memphis came in at number 2, and they also had only a 6% chance of getting a top pick, and they ended up number 2. And I know Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks were really disappointed that they didn't get that top pick. You could just see the look on Patrick Ewing's face when it was announced New Orleans, or actually not when New Orleans, but when New York got the number 3 slot. He just looked so disgusted. And then the Lakers got number 4, which was kind of surprising. And then you got Cleveland at 5, Phoenix at 6, Chicago at 7, Atlanta at 8, Washington at 9. The Dallas would have the 10th pick, but it goes to Atlanta with the Doncic, Trae Young trade. And then you got Minnesota at 11, Charlotte at 12, Miami at 13, and Sacramento at 14. And so to go back with New Orleans taking Zion Williams, there's been some reports out there that Zion was disappointed that the Knicks or Lakers are not in the number 1 slot for the NBA draft coming up. And I just feel like Zion should think of it as a blessing that he's not going to have to go to one of those 2 dysfunctional NBA teams, the Knicks and the Lakers, to go play for. There's just so much backstabbing and lack of leadership in both organizations. I mean, it's just embarrassing for the league, and I just feel that this is a blessing for Zion. He can go to New Orleans, and New Orleans is a great city. They've got great fans, great food, and they're going to welcome him with open arms. And he's going to make so much money with endorsements, and if he just continues to work on his game and just play in New Orleans and go along and help his team, then, Zion's going to be a beast in the NBA. And I just think that him going to the Pelicans is a great situation and not going to the Knicks or the Lakers. And then I know the Pelicans they're going to try to convince Anthony Davis to stay. And I don't know if Davis is going to stay or not. If he just says he doesn't want to stay, then they're going to more than likely call Boston or Philly to see what they can trade for him, what the trade market is, and get some pieces back to add around Zion and Holiday. But I just know, for New Orleans, their future looks so bright. And if they can keep Anthony Davis, oh my goodness. That just moves them up in the Western Conference rankings for their team. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on that and see how things go with the NBA draft that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So now we're going to move over and step inside the ring with a little WWE news and notes. This Friday is the WWE Super Showdown. It's going to be from Saudi Arabia, and it's available on the WWE Network. It is on Friday, June 7th. I think at 1 p.m. is the start time. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's early afternoon on Friday, June 7th. So the first, this is not how the match is going to go in order. I'm thinking Goldberg and the Undertaker are going to be in the main event of the show. Yes, I said Goldberg versus the Undertaker. If you would have said this 10 or 15 years ago that this matchup was going to happen, wrestling fans would just be ecstatic on this. But I feel like this match is just way past its prime, no pun intended. I just feel like where these two guys are, and part-time performers and wrestling legends, I just don't think you're going to get the match from them that you could get from them 10 or 15 years ago. So these two, Goldberg and The Undertaker, there was kind of a match that was maybe hinted back in 2017 when The Undertaker and Goldberg were in the ring together at the Royal Rumble, and the Undertaker ended up eliminating Goldberg from the match. And then the Undertaker turned his attention towards Brock Lesnar, and I guess the writing team, whatever, just decided that they didn't want to book a Goldberg-Undertaker match for WrestleMania 33, which was instead Goldberg versus Lesnar, and that match was just 5 minutes. Yes, it was literally a 5-minute match, and Goldberg dropped the title to Lesnar. And for The Undertaker, his last match was at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, and he and Kane were the Brothers of Destruction. They took on Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and they lost that match. My prediction for this one, I just can't see the Undertaker booked to lose this match. I'm going to say the Undertaker wins with a tombstone and beats Goldberg. I'm hoping this match goes more than 10 minutes, but I mean, you just don't know with the booking. And I know Goldberg is trained and he's in great shape, and the Undertaker, he's done a lot to get his body in better shape, and I know these two are going to give a great performance. I just think there's just a little bit missing from this dream match. So then we go on to the Universal Champion Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. Most of the WWE Universe is upset because Corbin's in this match, and they will riot if Corbin ends up beating Seth Rollins for the Universal title, which I can't see that happening. Seth Rollins, I mean, he's one of the most popular wrestlers in WWE, and they need to keep that title on Seth Rollins with the luring AEW that's out there, and they're gaining momentum and popularity. And I just think keeping the title on Rollins is probably, as what Triple H would say, best for business. So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins winning that match. Then we got champion Kofi Kingston, WWE champion Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. This was kind of a weird feud that started a couple weeks ago. Ziggler attacked Kingston and tried to take him out, and told him that he shouldn't be WWE champion, that Ziggler should be champion. And I just feel that Kofi's going to end up winning this match. I can't see him taking the title off of him this quickly after he beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Ziggler is a great in-ring performer and great on the mic, and he's been a great champion before. I just don't see, this is not the right time for them to put the belt on Ziggler, so I'm going to go with Kofi in this match. And then we have Intercontinental Champion, the Demon, Finn Balor versus Andrade. And I'm going to go with Andrade in this match to win the Intercontinental title. These two guys were in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And Andrade, he brutalized Finn Balor. He gave him a sunset flip powerbomb from the top of the ladder onto another ladder below. And that was one of the sickest moves I've seen in a long time. You'll have to go find that on YouTube, or I'll try to post that actually on our Instagram account. I'll post that clip of Andre giving Balor the sunset flip powerbomb. That was just a sick move. But I'm going with Andre to win this one. And then we're going to move on to Triple H versus Randy Orton, the Apex Predator. Oh, these two guys are WWE legends, and they've got more than 15 years of history together. And I think the last time they were in a match together was back on Raw in 2010. It's been a long time since they've wrestled each other. They they've been running promo packages on WWE programming the past 2 weeks with, the starting of the formation of Evolution, and then it kind of ended with the WrestleMania 25 WWE Championship match between the two. I think this is going to be a fun match to watch between these two guys. But I think Triple H is going to get the win in this match. And then we're going to move on to Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. I still don't know why this is booked. And this is crazy story writing to book Reigns versus McMahon. I don't even know why McMahon's still wrestling, to be honest. But yeah, this really started when Roman hit the chairman, Vince, with a Superman punch on his first night on SmackDown. And that kind of got Shane McMahon's attention. And then he started standing up for his dad. And now he's got the help of Elias and Drew McIntyre to help him out. And I think these two guys are going to try to help Shane defeat Roman Reigns. Is probably going to take all three of them to defeat him, but I'm still going with Roman Reigns in this match. And then we got Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Not sure how I feel with this match with Strowman and Lashley. It's going to be a battle of two of the strongest wrestlers. I'm going to go with Braun Strowman. I'm ready for Braun Strowman to actually win a championship. It's been long overdue. I think he deserves to be a Universal Champion. But you could also start with the Intercontinental Champion and work your way up, or the U.S. Champion. Him and Samoa Joe would be a great feud. And then you've got Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party. I'm not going to talk much about this one. I'm just going to say Lars Sullivan in this squash match. I don't even know why this is being booked. It's like a 3-on-1 handicap match, and this is a good time for a bathroom break. Then we have the 50-man Battle Royal, and they claim it's going to be the largest in the company's history. And they haven't announced who's going to be in the match, but my guess is the majority of the locker room is going to be in there. But reportedly, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Zion, Kevin Williams, and Aleister Black are not going to be in the Royal Rumble, the Battle Royal match. But I'm picking a dark horse in this one. I think this is when Bray Wyatt makes his return back. He's been doing the Firefly Funhouse the past couple of weeks, and that's been pretty entertaining, and he cut some great promos. But I think Bray Wyatt's going to come back, and he's going to win this Battle Royal, and the crowd's going to absolutely go crazy once they see him return. So that pay-per-view is this Friday, once again on WWE Network. And now we're going to switch over and step out of the ring and onto the football field and do some Dallas Cowboys news and notes. I know I've mentioned before on social media, should the Cowboys pay Dak Prescott $30 million a year? My thinking is he should get a similar contract to what Jimmy Garoppolo's signed with the 49ers. He got a 5-year, $137.5 million contract with 49ers. He got a $7 million signing bonus. $74 million was guaranteed, and that's an average annual salary of $27.5 million. I think that's a reasonable number to pay Dak for all his work and for being the leader of this team and the Cowboys organization and quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And then also too, like Garoppolo, he's going to earn a base salary of $17 million and have a roster bonus of $150,000 and a workout bonus of $600,000, and while carrying a cap hit of $19.3 million. So I just think if they want to kind of go along and copy what the 49ers gave Garoppolo, I think Dallas fans would be absolutely happy with that, giving Dak $27.5 million, a year, to be quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And then also too, the highest or the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. You've got Russell Wilson at number 1, $35 million. Roethlisberger number 2 at $34 million. Rodgers at number 3 with $33.5 million. Matt Ryan number 4 at $30 million, and Kirk Cousins at number 5 at $28 million. So to kind of take a look at that, Dak would be right in there at number 6 or 7 under Cousins to go along with Garoppolo, which is not bad at all. I think that's reasonable to pay him that amount of money. And then just kind of a portfolio of Dak stats. He's 32-16 in 3 years with the Cowboys, 66.1 completion percentage, 67 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. He's had 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, 14 game-winning drives. I could keep going on here. 2 Pro Bowl selections. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2016. I mean, just pay the man. I mean, these stats alone right here, just pay him and get this going and give him that $138 million contract. I mean, Dak is a hell of a worker, and he's a leader of this team, and he's a good kid. And these other Dallas Cowboy players, they look up to him, and he's a leader of this team. So I think Cowboy Jerry and Stephen should just go ahead, write up the contract, and let's get this done and go ahead and pay him. And then also too, Amari Cooper, they have to work on his contract. I know I was thinking maybe in the range of 5 years, $81 million for Amari Cooper. That'd be around $49 million, maybe guaranteed. And then also too, you've got Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys picked up his 5th-year option. Is he going to get Todd Gurley money? Because Todd Gurley, his deal was 4 years, around $57 million, which was a little over $17 million a year. And so I don't know with Zeke's latest little incident and his past and stuff, which I mean that's part of it, but also too Zeke, he spent this last year being trying to be a role citizen and and trying to clean up a bunch of things and be a model citizen stuff. So we'll have to see what plays out with that. And then also too, you have Jalen Smith and Byron Jones contracts coming up as well. I mean, you can't sign them all. I know Jalen Smith, he'll end up getting a new deal, but is Byron Jones going to get the squeeze on this one? If you sign Zeke, and then if you had it between Zeke and Byron Jones, I mean, what do you do? But yeah, I know Byron Jones, he wants top cornerback money, so we'll kind of have to see what plays out on that. And I think that is about it. We really kind of did the hurry-up offense on the NBA Finals and Mavs news and notes and Cowboys and the WWE and everything going on. So we can continue this conversation on social media. Once again, you can find us at A Good Sports Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also, let me know what you think of listening to, or let me know what you think of the show by leaving a review rating on Apple Podcast. You can subscribe, download, and share on there. And I really appreciate your support and listening to the show. And I will say that's all. So we will talk to you soon. So long, everybody.